Dear reviewer, good evening and welcome to Current Issue. With me tonight from the city of Sterling Heights, the good city of Sterling Heights, the mayor, Michael Taylor. Mr. Taylor, welcome to MEA.
Thank you.
And the chief of police, Dale, and I always have a problem with announcing your last name.
Yep, Dewodjikowski.
The city of Sterling Heights, there's a multi-city of all the ethnic minority and all that. But I could say the Middle Eastern community are a good part of Sterling Heights. Mr. Mayor, tell me more about the population of Sterling Heights and what do you think is the population of the Middle Eastern community in Sterling Heights?
Well, it's a great question, Wally. Sterling Heights has for many years been one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the state of Michigan.
Yes.
And particularly the Middle Eastern community in Sterling Heights is the largest single ethnic group. The majority is made up of Chaldeans, but there are a number of other ethnicities from the Middle East as well.
We have the Syrian, we have the Egyptian, we have,
Absolutely. And so we're a city of approximately 135,000 people. We have a census going on right now as of the date of taping. That's about wrapping up, and there's still time to get out there and get your census answered. But we anticipate that this upcoming census is going to show that we're the third largest city in the state of Michigan.
So you're competing with Warren.
We're competing with Warren. We're neck and neck. And what can put us over the top is the Chaldean population, the Middle Eastern population. We estimate that it could be anywhere from a quarter to a third of the overall population, specifically Chaldean. And if you add the entire Middle Eastern populations, it increases even more. So it's a very important population in Sterling Heights, one that we are actively working to reach out to and get services provided to in a better way. So I'm excited about our conversation today.
Great. Chief, we're talking about the Middle Eastern, not just the residential, but we have the business. And there is a lot of business from the Middle Eastern community in Sterling Heights. How is the relation with the police? And what do you want? What kind of message you want, especially to the business people?
Yeah, we have a great relationship. We have a community outreach and resident engagement program, which means we have community police officers that are assigned to certain areas of the city, and we encourage them to walk into the businesses, say hello to the owners, know them by their first name, know when they should be open, when they should be closed. Then there's something going on inside the business, they're getting broken into, or strange, suspicious vehicles, we can stop a crime before it occurs. And that's all because of relationships and our officers knowing who's there and who should be there during certain times. And we do know our Chaldeans work very hard. Middle Eastern, anyone, and especially in the Chaldean community, a lot of entrepreneurs, they own their own business. They run their own restaurants and shops, and they work a lot of hours.
Absolutely.
And they're there from morning to night, hard working people.
And the whole family.
Yeah, the family-run businesses, absolutely, and our officers know that, they respect that, and most of our officers know these guys by their first name. They know them, they know their family, and they swing in there every single day during their shift, which is great. That's the partnership you want with the police department.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, and again to the police department, are you satisfied with the numbers of the police that you have in your city, and you need more police? Of course, there is some I don't want to say dumb mayors, asking for defund the police and all that.
Right.
And then thousands of 911 go to the police for asking for the help, and they're not there. What your
So I'll tell you, I'm not one of the mayors out there that's calling to defund the
That's
police.
why we love you.
I'm not right. And that's why I love love you, Wally, and I love the population in Sterling Heights has a respect for our police that I think is probably unique throughout the country right now. And then when you see other cities that would tolerate defunding the police and reducing the amount of police on the street, I'm all for using our budgets to help support mental health and help support community engagement and help support resources for the communities that need it the most.
Yeah.
But our police department is an integral part of that. And you don't take from the police to help other areas.
Absolutely.
You have to have those police resources in order to have that sense of safety and that sense that, this is a place where I can raise a family and I can open up a business. And so I would never turn down more police officers if we could do it in a way that makes sense within our budget. We're always looking to increase our police manpower, not decrease it. We're always looking for ways to provide more resources to our police. And they've worked over decades to build the trust in our community that they are a partner. They are part of our community. As the chief was saying, our core program is where our residents see the police officers out there in the neighborhoods doing the good work.
Yes.
Not just knocking people's heads.
Comfortable.
Right. Doing
to do the business.
Absolutely. And that's what our police are there for, to provide that protection, that sense of security. And so our community loves our police. I love our police. And most importantly, our police love our community and want to see us have a successful community. So the police is a partnership that they need to be treated as a partner. They can't be defunded. They can't have threats from politicians that they're going to be cut off at the knees. So we try in Sterling Heights to do everything that we can to show that our police are a vital part of the overall health, safety, and well-being of our community.
Great. Chief, is your department representing and the face of the community in the Sterling Heights? That's mean any ethnic minority, those ethnic minority, and especially in this case, the Middle Eastern community, representing in your department?
Yeah, we've made great strides. We had one Middle Eastern officer. Now we have 3 Middle Eastern officers just in the last few years. So we're actually hiring this October, November. We're going to have another hiring list established. So we've done many outreach programs and recruitment events at the Chaldean Community Foundation, because a lot of Chaldeans work for their family, work for their parents, they're entrepreneurs, they run their own business, they run their own shop. The idea of working for the government doesn't even enter the mind, right? So we're doing a show with the Chaldean Community Foundation. I'll see if we can hook up with you, Wally, but it's called The Day in the Life of a Police Officer. We shot our first episode.
It's a pleasure for us to bring the Middle Eastern police officer.
Yes. So Officer Kashat was our first episode. So Officer Lamar Kashat's in a police car, and he's driving around the city, and they show all the different runs that he goes on. And I think if a young Chaldean person sees this, young Middle Eastern person sees this, they identify there's a Chaldean. He loves his job. He is awesome at his job. And the amount of freedom you get as a police officer, Wally, when you get into that police car, every 15 minutes, something different happens. You're not sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. You're not working at a shop it's different challenge every day. It is really one of the most exciting jobs on the planet. Our pay and benefits are excellent. So we would encourage anybody, any ethnic minority that's never thought of law enforcement, to join. We've made great strides, and that's been because of outreach. We've done recruitment events, and we've really went to those communities and said, hey, here's the job. Are you interested? You have to do that if you want more minorities, more ethnicity. You have to do it. You have to do the recruiting.
What will it take for a person? Do you want college graduate?
Yep, 62 college credits, which is like an associate's degree.
So even community college.
The community college, yep. And then be in the police academy. Join one of the local police academies. Macomb's got a police academy. Oakland's got a police academy. So you got to be either done with the police academy or in the police academy with 62 college credits. That's pretty much it, and a clean criminal record.
And let's be honest. The east side, which is Sterling Heights and Warren and Shelby, the people, they've been here for about 15 years, 20 years. They still have a family proud that having their son to be a police officer or to be, working with the government. And yes, the richest families and all that, they look for their son to make 150, 200,000. We have a different situation here. The average is probably between 50 to 70,000. So there's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And what's the pay?
Yeah.
When you say 150, if they want to make 150, maybe not that high, but there's good opportunities.
But here in the east side, it's different.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have that people. We don't have that family making, for example, West Bloomfield and all that.
I'll let the chief finish, but our motto as the policymakers, the mayor and my colleagues on the city council, is to pay our police officers well.
Great.
Pay them a good wage, not just a good wage, but a very good wage. And then you'll attract the best sort of people. And so we're not shy about it. We'll pay a good wage to our police officers and great benefits.
Right.
And so they have the opportunity as they move up in the ranks and as they continue on in their career in Sterling Heights to be making a very competitive wage. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're probably one of the highest paid in the state. And a typical officer at about it takes 5 years to get the top pay, is going to make between $90,000 and $100,000 as just a patrolman. And if you become a boss, like a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, you get pay raises into the well over $100,000 as a police officer with a pension, and have full health care.
To be honest with you,
So
I thought it's between like 40 to 50.
That's year one rookie pay. At year 5, you're easily $90,000 to $100,000 base pay.
Excellent.
Yeah, the pay is excellent. And like Mayor Taylor said, so this is what happens in Sterling Heights. We pay very competitive wages. We have great benefits. The city's been awesome to us. So Sterling Heights became a destination police department. People leave other police departments to come to Sterling Heights, which is a good thing for us. So when we have an opening for 1 or 2 officers, we steal 1 or 2 officers, really good officers from another department, maybe a local department, and we pick the best, and they leave and they come to Sterling Heights. So that's what happens when you put out a decent wage benefit package. They will come here, and we have been able to hire the best. And I think we have one of the most professional police departments in the state. And some of that is because of our wage and benefits and what the city council has approved for us over the years. There's no secret to it.
From Chief of Police of Detroit and all that.
Yeah.
That we spend a lot of money on them, and then they go to
And they
another
leave.
city. And
Yes, that's exactly what
because
happens.
they go to the other for better treatment.
Yeah.
And that's why, Mr. Mayor, is your office, as again, same questions to the chief, is your office represent the whole community? I mean, especially the Middle Eastern community.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'll admit we have work to do in that regard. We do have Middle Eastern members of the community who work at City Hall and work throughout our organization. But even just today, I was on a call with our city manager and our human resources director and our assistant city manager about what can we do as a community to do a better job of increasing the diversity within City Hall, within our workforce. Because I do believe that for a city like the city of Sterling Heights, or really any city, you want, when you go in to conduct business, whether it's you go to see the city planner, or you need to get a building permit, or you need to pay your property taxes, or you have a problem with your water bill, you want to see a workforce that's reflective of the community, that gives our residents the sort of comfort that their issues are being taken care of, and that they can have that feeling of security and comfort. So we are planning on working with a diversity coordinator to target what areas of City Hall, the police department, and the fire department, and on, where we can do a better job of having, for example, members of the Middle Eastern community in leadership roles at City Hall, so that those issues and concerns within the community are better addressed. And we're also working on it in terms of community engagement. We have hundreds of boards and commission positions. These are volunteer positions normally, but people that make decisions impacting policy. And we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to show that there are these opportunities for people to serve, and targeting the Middle Eastern community particularly to make sure that they're in those roles.
Great. And honestly, for the chief and the mayor, each community have different culture. Each community have different custom, how they deal with people. As you both reflect the community in you can understand the culture. So if you have somebody with the Middle Eastern community, even if you go to the building and there is somebody in the water department, he could go and help them, explain the situation. A lot of them, they have different way of talking, and that's very important. They don't mean it, but it's important, for somebody to understand it.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. And one of the main benefits, I think, from the chief's standpoint, is probably that we have officers that speak the language now, that we have officers that speak Arabic or speak Chaldean. Yes. And sometimes with that language barrier, it doesn't matter how professional you are and how many years you've been on the service. If you just can't communicate with the customer, then how are you going to get business done? And so that's an important thing at City Hall too. It's an important thing when you're just trying to get anything done. Look, I studied abroad. I lived overseas for a short period of time, and I remember how difficult it is when you're coming from a different culture and you have a different way of doing things, that every single interaction you have, whether it's the grocery store or a taxi driver or a member of the government,
dealing with families,
yes,
which have different culture and different custom.
So the more we can do to make people feel comfortable, the better service that they're going to get, the more they're going to feel welcome, the more they're going to feel at home. And it's just one, we take it for granted. I would say probably the chief and I take for granted that when we walk into City Hall, we don't have to worry about a language barrier or a different culture. So we want to do everything we can to make those residents feel welcome.
And excellent. And for our viewer and honesty, we broadcast throughout the United States. Michigan had the largest Middle Eastern community, over 500,000, and the largest Chaldean community, over 170,000. So we honestly are proud of the city of Sterling Heights to have our community and host our community, and the treatment we have, if it's from the police or the City Hall. There's two things that I want to cover. One is the COVID, and the other one is the census. And they are very, very important to us. And Mr. Mayor, and you could add to it, Chief, the COVID in the city of Sterling Heights, are we controlled? Are we control, for example, the gathering? And I've been hearing there is a lot of gathering and cause a lot of positive COVID. Right. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so we've seen an uptick. We've seen a spike in Macomb County, and in particular, I regret to say, within the Chaldean community, we're seeing an uptick. And there's a lot of reasons that we can say why, and we can pass a lot of blame. But what I will say is this, that every community, no matter what it is, Chaldean, Middle Eastern,
Italian, Polish, all,
this disease doesn't discriminate.
Absolutely.
It does not discriminate against you. It doesn't pick you just because of your skin color or because of your ethnicity. Is that if you contract it, and if you are in a vulnerable position, whether by age or by some other pre-existing condition that you have, this can be deadly, as we're seeing. It has been deadly. And so we're doing what we can. And I'm proud to have the chief with me here. We're working together to encourage people to wear masks. It's an inconvenience, but if you're going to be out, if you have to be out at the stores or in public, just wear a mask. We ask you to just be careful around other people. Keep social distance if you can. Wash your hands. Be responsible, and we're going to get through this. But, it's not a myth. It's not a hoax. No, it's out there.
It's real.
And it's very real. Yeah. And I've talked to the hospitals. I've talked to the doctors and nurses at our local hospitals. And I've talked to friends who've contracted this. And it's, even if you survive it, you can have lingering problems for a long time. So you don't want to contract it. We want to do everything we can to slow down the spread of this virus, which we've done a great job of so far. But we still have work to go.
Okay. Chief, I've been hearing there is a lot of gathering. There is a lot of wedding for 200, and the custom and the culture we have, dancing on the floor and all that. And that's, at the end, we're finding a lot of positive COVID out of that. What are you doing to stop that?
Well, it's law enforcement used to catching bad guys and fighting crime. So this is disease control. This is unlike anything police officers have ever had to do. So we've been forced to go to banquet halls, to restaurants, and tell the owners, you cannot do this. You need to separate the tables. People have to have masks. And some of our officers feel terrible doing this because you don't want to ruin the business. You don't want to bankrupt the family. But it is. So then sometimes we're looked at as the bad guys, that the police are there trying to ruin their business. But I'm also trying to save a life. And we saw in the latest cases for July and August in Macomb County, Sterling Heights kind of leading the pack in Macomb County with new cases. And some of those were on our west side zip code, where a lot of our Chaldeans live on the west side of the city. And then it had a list of like where the people were exposed at the bottom of this report from the health department. And leading the pack were church events, baptismal parties, confirmation, get-togethers, wedding showers, weddings in general. So it was all family get-togethers, a lot of them involving some kind of religious, a wedding thing or confirmation, communion, baptism. So families get together, they hug, they kiss, they shake hands. So there's really the science isn't that difficult. The more people in a room, the tighter you are confined, and no one wearing a mask, the odds are going through the roof to catch the disease. You have to wear a mask.
Enforcing the audience and the law, believe me, you are for their benefit.
Yes, I know that, but sometimes the people, the store owner and the manager doesn't think that way, Wally. They're upset because they, I get it. They have to pay the bills like everybody else.
True, but again, when you have a wedding of 200 people and then you have about 10, 15 COVID,
Yeah.
I mean, even the people who invite them, they're very embarrassed
Yeah.
to hear this kind of news. So I encourage you to go to all those banquet halls and all that, to put stop to that. Then we have another 2 months left. Vaccine is coming within 2 months, and then they'll let them celebrate with 1,000 people.
I hope. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I think it's coming. The end of the year is going to be here. Mr. Mayor, the census is very important to every city, and it's important to every community, because if you take the school for our children, if you take the road, if you take senior citizen, if you take the all the money comes from the federal, all depend on the census.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what city of Sterling High doing to make sure that the citizens of Sterling High are counted?
Well, great question. So we started this effort really about 18 months ago, recruiting volunteers, creating an infrastructure where we can get volunteers out to knock on doors. Now, a lot of that was not, we weren't able to do that because of COVID. But holding events before we could. We were out at the Chaldean Community Foundation building for an event. We pushed things out onto social media. We had informative information on our YouTube channel and things like that. And we just are doing everything that we can to encourage people to voluntarily be counted. There was a period where I know a lot of people were concerned that there was a citizenship question, and then we know that there were deportations within the Middle Eastern community and Sterling Heights. But what I've always said consistently is that this is the way that you show your value and your worth to the United States of America, to the state of Michigan, to the city of Sterling Heights.
And to your family.
To your family.
So, because that benefits your family.
Absolutely.
Your children, the elderly.
To every resident in Sterling Heights, to every one of the tens of thousands of Chaldean residents, on that census form, I'm no better than them. They're no better than me. We are equals. And that federal funding that comes into the city, we've never seen it more important than right now. We are getting trillions of dollars spent by the federal government going out to governments, state, local governments, to individuals. And a lot of that money is based on what your census count is. So for the benefit of our community, for the benefit of really any Middle Eastern community throughout the state of Michigan or throughout the entire United States, there's nothing you can do right now more important than making sure you're counted on the census.
For all the benefits.
For all the benefits.
For you, for your family, for your city, for your school district, for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Chief, there's something very important with this census, is the trust. The trust. Somebody is illegal, he's got a crime, he want to hide himself. He take from the welfare and he think his check is going to stop. Is this the information they put in the form? Is it confidential?
Yeah.
And how strong is this confidential?
Yeah, federal law. I mean, if you release that information to law enforcement or anyone else,
I heard, 20 years, it's locked for 20 years, right?
The actual data as far as I'm not sure the retention, but if
we did an interview with the people from the census and they told me, and the main thing they want to relay message to the community is the confidential.
Yeah, 100%. I have no right as the police officer. Immigration's Customs Enforcement has no right to that information. In fact, if they do get it or someone leaked it, you're going to jail. You will be charged and prosecuted. So census data is 100% locked down. It's just basically how many people are living in a house. We don't care about your legal status. We don't care about any kind of welfare issues or social assistance programs. No one has access to that, and nor are you going to be deported.
IRS is not. Immigration is not.
No.
Police department is not.
No.
So that family, whatever they put there, it's locked for 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So why would you not want to count the people in your family? The city of Sterling Heights is going to lose out on dollars. You're going to lose out on money. The building of new hospitals and churches or schools and road projects.
About the road,
you complain about the road, yeah.
Then put yourself in census.
Absolutely.
So we can get the right federal money.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other thing, Mr. Mayor, you want to relate in this census? Because this is very important,
Right. Yeah. So what I've said to people in the past is that I understand that there's some concern about the privacy and about putting that information out there, especially if you're here and maybe your visa has expired or something like that.
Or you taken,
But if you're home, if you call your home Sterling Heights or Troy or Warren or West Bloomfield or San Diego, then you should be counted. Okay? That is what it's there for. The census is here to count every person regardless of their immigration status. And so I encourage everybody to do that. You can be safe and secure in knowing that information is going to be protected. And most importantly, it's your way of planting a flag in the ground and saying, this is my country too. Yeah. And that's what I want to encourage everybody to do.
Great. Chief, any final message you want to give to the community? If it's as a residential or business, that you're dealing with them every day.
No, we're so thankful for our partnership, especially in Sterling Heights. Again, I was born in Sterling Heights. We talked before, Wally, that in 1970 we were pretty much Polish, Italian, German immigrants. That's what Sterling Heights was. Now, I've lived here my whole life. I've been a police officer for 25 years, and to be the police chief here, to see the transformation of Sterling Heights over the decades is truly astonishing. And to see our city council, our elected leaders all adopt and embrace that change. This is the new Sterling Heights, and it's increased business revenue. Home sales are off the chart because of immigrants coming in. So this has absolutely benefited Sterling Heights, and we're only going to get more ethnic minorities moving into Sterling Heights. This is the new Sterling Heights, and I'm proud to be the police chief here.
Great. Mr. Mayor, what do you like to tell the community how to deal with the city hall, with the departments, to get them more involved in those committees, like the Board of Zoning, the Board of, they play a major role.
Absolutely.
So what's your message to that?
Yeah, my message is that a lot of times what we've heard is that members of the community who don't actively serve in those roles never thought that they were welcome, never knew that there was an opportunity. Well, I'm here to say there is an opportunity. You are welcome, and I want to hear from you. If you want to play a more active role in your community, we want you to be there. Okay? We want you to apply to become a police officer in the city of Sterling Heights. We want you to apply to be in our planning department or in our water department or anywhere that you think you might be a good fit. We want to have you. We value your input. We value your community. And Sterling Heights is, over the last 20, 30 years, transformed so much into what I believe is a much richer, much more beautiful, much more vibrant community. Yes. And it's no coincidence that happened at the same time that the Chaldean community and the Middle Eastern community moved in. So we all benefit from that sort of diversity. And so I just want to let everyone that's watching, all your viewers, know that we value the Middle Eastern community in Sterling Heights. We're better off for it. And we want you to know that you're welcome and we value your input.
Okay. And Chief and the Mayor, on behalf of the whole community, we thank you very much. I have a lot of friends and relatives, and I'm very close to the Sterling Heights, and I know the treatment. They're very happy. They're very welcome. They're very open. The whole population, including the chief and the police and the mayor, is very open-minded to talk to everybody, to engage everybody. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wally.
Dear viewer, that was my interview with the mayor of Sterling Heights, Michael Taylor, and the chief of police of Sterling Heights, Dale Tucholsky.
Pretty good, Wally.
Great. Honestly, we have a good community in Sterling Heights. And some of you, they become to the U.S. probably 7 to 10 years and not yet knowing the system, not yet getting involved with the system. I encourage you to get involved with the police department, with the city, especially with those committee. This is the start for you to engage and to probably go and campaign for somebody that you like, or yourself running for office in the Sterling Heights City Council or any committee. So please get involved. And sometimes I hear people complaining, and I ask them, don't complain. Get involved. And if there is anything that you see wrong, you could correct it if you're involved. So please do that. And one more thing, anytime you see a police officer, go and thank him. Thank him for protecting the community. Thank them for a great job they're doing. And those people who said about defending the police, see what happened to them in those cities that they begged the police to come back. We have the police that they coming to you. So please shake his hand and thank him for a good job they're doing. Thanks for watching and a good night.